All right, Mo, Josh, welcome back. Another installment. My goodness, it feels like I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that AFC NFC Championship weekend was like a month ago. Like that feels so long ago. I don't know what it is. There's the 2 week break leading up to the Super Bowl, and there's so much to think about. I mean, personally, I've been pretty busy with a lot of the other sports that have been going on. A lot of news here and there. It's been a busy last few days. But yeah, we just had the Pro Bowl last weekend. So Mo, Josh, did you guys see any of the Pro Bowl, any of the flag football, or any of that?
I mean, I watched a little bit of the highlights here and there, but nothing that I'm too keen on watching these days. I mean, now that it's not tackle football, they don't really, they're just messing around. They're just having a fun time, which is like, it's good for the players. It's good for them to just like get involved and hang out with each other. But from a fan's perspective, like I could never see myself paying to a ticket to watch flag football.
Yeah, it was really weird because I saw them. It looked like they were only doing the game on half of the field, but you have the entire stadium that's filled with people, and I was just like, wow, these people can they even see? Not only is the field small enough, but they're only seeing half of it, and yeah, I watched a little bit of it. I saw some of the highlights, some of the moments when I think Peyton Manning was pretty upset at the end there. I didn't quite see too much, but I think he was arguing with some of the rules of the flag football. But Mohammed, how about you?
All I saw was a clip of Jalen Ramsey turning into Super Bowl mode all of a sudden. I don't know who the receiver was coming down the field, but I just saw him
Yeah, who was it? Who was it? I forget.
plow through one person. I don't remember who it was.
Was it Adams? I remember. Yeah,
I think so.
It was it was Tyreek Hill.
It was still Tyreek.
wasn't it? It was during the lateral, wasn't it? Like, yeah, but man, those guys like.
Yeah, that's the only thing I saw was Jalen Ramsey just let out his frustrations on not repeating a Super Bowl. That's kind of that's all
Yeah,
I really noticed out of the Pro Bowl. And
I,
Peyton Manning just doing a splendid job at ESPN. That's really all I'm noticing with the Pro Bowl these days.
Yeah, I think Ramsey's gonna bring his A game every single time, no matter what. But yeah, I mean, these guys are out here wearing bucket hats and like those big straw hats, and I'm just like, wow, are they seriously thinking they're not gonna get rocked by somebody? Especially if you're a defender, how are you supposed to defend? But yeah, so we're in between right now. Super Bowl's upon us, and we did a video where we talked about the conference championship weekend. So. What the hell happened, guys? What was that?
Great question.
What, dude? I'm still trying to figure out. Like, my goodness. So Mohammed, let's start with you. What was going through your mind for that game? Like, just from the beginning to the end. I mean, it was all over the place, wasn't it?
It's a pleasure you asked me that first. I think for me, honestly, I thought it was like I thought it was. I actually think I might have asked Josh like before. I was like, "Yo, so what happens like if Brock Purdy goes down?" Oh yeah, I don't know. See what happens. I don't know. Or no, after like I think and then Josh Johnson came on,
yeah. Oh man.
and then I don't know. I kind of honestly I felt kind of bad. I kind of wanted. I don't like seeing. Obviously, I don't like seeing teams that beat us in the playoffs lose. It's just such an unfortunate coincidence, if you ask me. No, but it's I don't think it was a representation of who that team was. I wish that they would have lost, with full strength. Brock Purdy, I don't know what the injury is, if it's like a torn MCL or if it's that's just a false report. But just bad timing, and Philly's just catching breaks like it's nothing now. So in terms of that NFC Championship game. I don't think it really said much about the 49ers other than, maybe finding new ways to stay, healthy. It's somehow, I don't even know how you stay healthy with guys running 100 miles an hour at you. Uh, but that's essentially what it is. I think that the Eagles just caught another lucky break with the Giants, and they're going to be up for a test come Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. We could go to the AFC game later, but I mean, the first kind of reactions that I was having was, I mean,
Best reaction for last. Let's see you, Matt.
I mean, honestly, like that first quarter, I thought the 49ers were going to win. Like I was actually like concerned for the Eagles, and we were probably saying that the Eagles haven't had a proper test, and boy did they need that game against the 49ers. But again, they just weren't tested, and it didn't seem like the 49ers. Obviously, there wasn't a whole lot that they could do. The defense probably. I wouldn't say they responded to these injuries with the offense, because what they were doing to themselves by shooting themselves in the foot, a lot of penalties, very uncharacteristic, obviously. But I feel like it's completely it's not indicative of how the team had been playing, because obviously the 49ers defense was all we could really focus on, and they weren't even in sync either. And I think like obviously there wasn't a whole lot that they could do. But yeah, the injuries, like it's very frustrating to see a season come to an end like that. And this isn't even good for the Eagles, because I think that they aren't necessarily a team that could, and we'll get into this later, but I think that's hard. It's still hard to judge the Eagles from that win, which wasn't like saying a whole lot for them either as well. So Josh.
I mean, it was tough, man. Like I can't even be upset about. I can't even be really like heartbroken about the loss, because it doesn't feel like the 49ers loss. Like losing because of injury never really feels like a loss. Like at halftime it was 14-7, and we didn't have a quarterback for the entire second quarter and half of the first quarter. I mean, if we can hold our defense held them up until I think they were essentially defeated, and they're like, okay, we can't generate anything on offense. Like this isn't gonna win. But yeah, we kept it in till halftime, and then once I think the coaches were like, "Hey, Purdy's not going to be coming back in," and when he did, he wasn't able to throw the ball more than 2 yards because he tore his UCL. Mm-hmm. I think the defense essentially was just defeated, and they knew that everything that they did, regardless of how great it wasn't going to win them the football game. It doesn't feel like the 49ers lost that game. I think I just love to see that game at full strength. I'd like to see the actual outcome of that game and see who's the real winner and who should be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Full strength as in Brock Purdy, or full strength as in Trey Lance and the rest of the crew?
Full strength as in Brock Purdy.
That's a good question for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think that we all kind of got robbed, and we may never see the Eagles and the 49ers this way again. We could also go to you, Josh. What was kind of your thoughts on the Cincinnati and the Chiefs game, which followed after?
Yeah, man. Well, I went 0 for 2 of my predictions. I predicted 49ers and Bengals, and I didn't get either of them going. But no, dude, I think that game really showed how great Patrick Mahomes is. Like playing like that on an injured ankle, having over 320 passing yards, like he led that team to victory, and he did it in fashion. I mean, the defense played a big part, being able to stop all 3 of the Bengals receivers. But I mean, I guess Tyler Boyd did get injured pretty early on in the game. But regardless, being able to stop Chase and Higgins for the most part of that game, their defense played a big part in it. And I think if they can play like that this upcoming weekend, I think they'll be in good standing.
Yeah, Mohammed, what about you? Did you watch that game?
So I didn't get to watch the entire one fully, but I mean, like Josh said, and going back to the prediction I had, I guess, on Mahomes 2 weeks ago, I think that it just showed who the kind of player he is. I think what was most interesting for me wasn't necessarily the game itself, but the reaction to the game in terms of officiating was sparked a really interesting conversation, I think, of hashtag NFL rigged and all this other stuff. And I'm just looking back going like, watching the internet react to, certain things. And then Arian Foster just kind of turning that fire into something crazier in terms of, him messing with people, I think was, interesting. So I don't know, man. I think my predictions went well in terms of both. We finally, I mean, what's ironic about this about sports is you usually never get to see the 1 seeds go up against each other ever in the finals. It's usually like a 1 seed maybe, and then a 2, and then maybe a 3. But the fact that we get to see 2 1 seeds go head to head, I think doesn't get any better than that. I really don't think it does. So looking forward to it. And Mahomes just showed who he is, and a little help from officiating, but you know, what are you gonna do, right? You got to just take your calls and then run with it, you know.
Yeah, that was a very odd 3rd and 9 that I remember. I didn't remember right away when you were mentioning the officiating, but now I remember very clearly because I tweeted and then I retracted the tweet. But I was just like very confused because I knew that the Chiefs were gonna win. Like I knew the Chiefs were gonna win, but I was cheering for the Bengals because I wanted the Bengals to win. But you know, just there's something in there that just makes the Chiefs win every time, and once again, that's what we saw. And so here we are. We've got two of the best teams. So my next question for you guys, Josh, what have the Chiefs done, and what have the Eagles done to get to where they are right now? And not just the top of their conferences, earning those bye weeks, getting in. You know, like let's be honest. You know, like the Eagles played the Giants and they played a 49ers team without a quarterback. So they got in pretty easily. Plus the bye week, which was just a free giveaway. And then the Chiefs, they go through Jacksonville and then they go through Cincinnati. Cincinnati, it was a good game. So for the regular season, what have the Chiefs done? How have they been able to get to this point when a lot of people were not expecting them to do that? Same with the Eagles. No one was hype. No one thought that the Eagles were going to do that this year, right?
No, definitely. And I think that with the Chiefs situation, a lot of people thought that they wouldn't make it that far without Tyreek Hill. But I mean, they made it work with a bunch of wide receiver two and a wide receiver three. I mean, they got Juju Smith. They brought in Marquez Valdez Scantling, and those, while they're well known guys, they're not number one wide receivers. And I don't think they really have a number one wide receiver other than Travis Kelce. But their seventh round running back, Isaiah Pacheco, has been a stud for them. I mean, nobody expected that from a seventh round pick. So I think they're just making it work and they're just flowing. Andy Reid is a great coach. He knows what he's doing and he's making that team work regardless of what they have on their offensive side of the ball. And as for the Eagles, I mean, trading for AJ Brown was their saving grace, really. I think without him, they wouldn't be nearly where they are today. But then again, they have a great defense. So, yeah, I think their defense has definitely carried them so far this season, but their offense definitely has the playmakers to make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. Mohammed?
I mean, yeah, like Josh mentioned, the acquisition of AJ Brown is really good. I think what I think what I saw when I first, I'm gonna even go back. I don't know if Josh will like this memory. I'll go back to even actually no, I'll go even go further than that with Kansas City. I think what they have with Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid and Kelsey and the rest of those guys is a solid core. Even back to that Brady season, like with that, and then on to the Super Bowl, and then the next one, and then even AFC Championship. Like they have just a solid team where they're arguably, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. I think they're kind of like the Patriots of this generation. They're probably going to be the Patriots of this generation for the next couple of years. They're going to continue to succeed. They clearly have some sort of organizational chemistry with one another to where they managed to succeed. I don't know. And then obviously with Philly, you know, Jalen Hurts. To me, Philly kind of came out of nowhere because I mean I'm more of a casual fan than I guess most of than you guys are in terms of you know the keeping up and everything like that. So if you were going to tell me beginning of this year Philly was going to make the NFC Championship or Super Bowl, they're going to come out the NFC and be the best team in the league, I would have been like, what the heck are you talking about? What's going on, right? Tom Brady come back. Let's see how that goes. But you know, in terms of Kansas City, I think that they've set themselves up somehow, like structurally, even you know, adding Juju, adding these different pieces help. But the core of Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid and you know Kelsey, I think just is a solid core that's gonna keep him up and running for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, definitely. It certainly seems that way because if we're looking back on Brady's Patriots, you know, as long as you had Belichick and you had as long as you had Brady, and if there were a couple other special talents that came out as the years went on, they were able to just keep that dynasty rolling for as long as they could, which seemed like a very long time. But yeah, I mean that's what we're looking at in the AFC.